Joey, Mickey, I'm Joey. We got that straight?
Yeah,
Okay, okay. I'm glad you know who you are.
so am I.
All right.
I'm glad you know who I are too.
I do. I do R.
R2D2.
C-3PO.
Tres amigos.
Ah, cuatro secos, el fuego.
Dos hermanos. Dos X.
Las Lobos.
Cerveza.
Minato to you.
Corona.
Corona?
See?
Tequila. Tan, tan, na, na, tan, tan. Anyway, okay. Anyway, where's the place that they make automobiles in America? Where's the number one place they make automobiles in the world?
Kentucky.
China, actually. So that joke doesn't work anymore. It used to
China's
be.
not in America.
Huh?
Joey.
Huh?
You said where's the place they make automobiles in America?
Oh,
That can't be
Kentucky?
China. It can't be China.
Kentucky?
China's not in America. It is Kentucky.
Well, what are they making in Kentucky?
Chicken.
Besides, well, he died a long time ago.
And bluegrass.
He was the silver fox for a long time. So don't tell me that Colonel Sanders is still around.
Well, his legacy lives on. They're still making chickens in Kentucky.
Making chickens?
See?
Handmade?
Por favor. Por supuesto. No, they're not handmade. You're thinking of handmade meat. And we'll get to that stuff later.
Okay, okay,
If we're lucky.
okay. Yeah, boars and butts is on my mind.
Yeah.
Georgia's on my mind.
Chicken's on my mind.
Fort Field's on my mind.
Oh!
Which means who's on my mind?
The Detroit Lions!
You know, ever since they got an eye in their uniform, like I said, I think they can see where they're going. It kind of helps when you can see where you're going.
Yes.
I mean, when you're just swatting at things and you're trying to beat somebody and you're a lion and you can't really see where you're going visibly, well, you know, Helen Keller was never a football player, and you can see why. Anyway, she accomplished a lot of things, but I'm sorry, but you know, a football field was no place for her, even though she was a miracle worker. That wasn't in the book, was it?
I don't know.
No. Well, I threw that in there, and I think that was a pretty nice little segue. Detroit Lions. We're going to go back. We're going to do an update on these guys.
Yeah. What happened?
Sad to say, but it's kind of like Pittsburgh. I mean, the Ford family still owns the Detroit Lions. Hence, automobile making. Hence, Michigan. Hence, ergo, i.e., whatever you want to call it. No more. No bueno. But we have some promise here.
Wait a minute, what's no more?
Hmm?
What's no more?
Well, they're not making any automobiles.
Oh, all
up
right.
there
But
anymore.
the Ford's still
It's
on
not.
the land,
It's not. You know, it's not known for automobilia anymore.
So that was a trick question?
You could say that,
Okay.
but then
Just
you've been back to Michigan, so I mean,
Yeah,
you
but I
had to have
wasn't
heard
in
something.
Detroit.
There's got to be some scuttlebutt.
I wasn't in Detroit.
Or where was your butt?
No, I wasn't in Detroit. I was in
Were you in the
Southwest
state of
Michigan.
Michigan?
Southwestern Michigan.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
We don't have...
On holiday,
Certainly.
as the British would say.
On holiday.
Oh, it's so nice to go to the States and take holiday on a lake and just, you know.
That's not frozen over, especially in August. You know, I'll tell you something, Joey. A friend of mine
Oh, boy.
is quite British. In fact, she's completely British, even though she was born in America. And she's been living
Quiet. No, not just quiet, but completely.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She's been living in London for 20 years. 20 years. And I saw her at a party on a Wednesday night, and I said, "Tell me, what's going on in London?" And she said, "Huh?" And I said, "All right, skip that question. How do you like the weather? How do you like the weather?" And she said, "It sucks." Well, she put it in British terminology, and I don't remember the word.
Drabs.
Drabs, yes, drabs.
Is that the word she used?
Yeah, drabs.
And why didn't you say smashing?
Smashing. Well, she says it's damn chilly, in fact. She said the first 15 years that she was living in central London, it was bad enough. They don't get any sunshine anyhow, and it rains. But the last 5 years, it's been noticeably colder. I've lost my British accent. I apologize to the viewers for this inappropriate segue. Just imagine whatever works well for you.
It's all right. I'll keep it up.
Yeah, that's right. See, Joey's going to keep the British part going. The accent anyway.
One for
Don't-
you Yanks.
Yeah.
Don't worry about me. I'm gonna keep stepping about.
All right, good. But give me a chance to finish what I'm saying, please. The last 5 years, she says, in London, it's been totally cold. It's been freezing. They have snow at Heathrow Airport. Even though they know that it snows every year, they can't handle the snow. They don't know what to do with it. They go out and make snowballs and snowmen, and they throw them around. But you can't fly in and out at Heathrow when there's snow because they haven't adapted. But my point really here
Oh,
is
not
that it's
fair,
colder
no.
and snowier in London in the last 5 years than it was in the previous 15. That's the weather report from London, England, from the Joey and Mickey Pro Football
London's
Show.
calling and they want to know where the hell's their clear weather.
They want some salt. In fact, they can't handle salt. I said, listen, you know, the folks from Heathrow, I told my friend this on Wednesday, the folks from Heathrow should send a delegation to the city of Chicago and talk to the City Hall and the Department of Streets and Sanitation, some of the finest, hardest workers in the city, and ask them, how do you handle snow? Because I grew up in Chicago, and I was just recently there, and when we get, let's say we get an inch of snow in Chicago, you know what else we get with it?
You get lots of wind. I mean, it's like the Windy City or something.
Well, yeah, we always have wind. It is windy city or something. That's good knowledge.
Hail.
Well, it's a hellish
Drizzle.
situation. It's a hellish
Drizzle.
situation.
I mean, how many things can weather do,
All right,
Mickey?
stop.
It can rain, it can drizzle,
Right.
it can blow,
It always
it
blows
can
in Chicago.
snow.
All right.
What else can fall from the sky? What are you looking
It doesn't
for?
fall from the sky. If we get 1 inch of snow, we get a 1/4 inch of salt. And that is a political reason. The streets get salted by the Department of Streets and Sanitation. In fact, some people call it the Department of Salts in the winter because Chicago history here, we had a mayor named Michael Bolandic back in the day. He was right in between Harold Washington and George Jane Byrne. And Irish mayor, of course, is more or less a prerequisite for being mayor, unless you're related to, I don't know, the president or something. And he failed. I don't know if it was his fault, but he took the heat. There was a winter where there was a lot of snow, and the Chicago streets were not cleared of snow, nor were they salted. And Chicagoans expected our streets to be cleared of snow, or at least salted, so that the snow is, you know, it's easier to drive on. It's not so icy. And a direct result of that was that Bolandic did not get reelected, and a direct result of that is that ever since then, you can count on it. We get an inch of snow in Chicago, we get a 1/4 inch of salt. You can count on it.
How can you blokes tell the difference between the white snow and the white salt?
Taste. The salt
You get on the
tastes
ground and you
salty.
taste it.
Well, that's how you can tell the difference if you really want it. I mean, the snow comes down in snowflakes. They're all different. The salt is applied by a truck that drives along with flashing lights, and you know, it clunks against your car if you happen to be driving by. And it's these little, you know,
Pellets.
pellets, right?
But
Pellets. I was gonna say pellets.
there's like millions of people in Chicago.
Yeah,
and
6
if they're
million.
all leaning over and they're,
6
and
million.
they're tasting the ground
Well, you don't
to
have
see the
to,
difference
but you
between
could.
the salt and the snow.
No, you just look.
That'd be bleeding crazy.
You just look, and when you see the truck going by, you know that the truck is not delivering snow; it's delivering salt. It's really pretty simple, Joey.
Because, well, I'm from London, and you
Yeah, I can
you
tell.
said,
London,
we're not
people.
used
This
to-
is my point. People
we're
in
not
London
used
don't
to
know understand snow.
So, are you telling me that the
Or how to
salt, the
deal
salt
with it.
comes out in little man-made pellets, so it's quite round in circumference?
No, they're kind of squarish.
Oh, like a cube, like you're going
Right.
to put in your tea.
Well, yeah, except you wouldn't put salt in your tea. Yeah, it's a cube. All right, I get. I'll grant you that.
Them nasty, stubborn Welsh, they probably put salt on their tea. That's why they're always mad about everything. They're mad about our politics. They're mad about their country. They're mad about they're not growing. They're mad about their chickens or feeling upset.
Who are the Welsh anyway?
The Welsh, the people from Wales. Like you're from Chicago, so
Right.
you're always making jokes about people from Canada, yeah?
No, that's Green Bay.
Oh, the Packers.
The Packers, right?
Only because I watch your show.
Well, you should. Thank you.
You know, the Joey and Matty Pro Football Show. Because here's the thing, we got a bunch of
Fans.
crazy
Millions
blokes
of fans.
down at the pub, and you know, whenever once a year now, when you come over and we get to see a professional American national football game, we want to get a team over here. But if you go talking about how drab it is in London, who's going to want to put a franchise in London, an NFL team?
Why not? We have them in Denver, Minnesota, you know, all these cold northern cities.
Denver.
And now what I'm saying is the climate of London is adapting, so it'll be more similar to the climate in Chicago and these cold northern cities. Furthermore, the NFL has been having a game, it's only one, a year, over there in London, so the British folks can get their taste of American football, and maybe one day the NFL will be expanded to NFL Europe or something.
Who's going to come play? Can we get like
Last
Tom
year-
Brady? Can Tom
Yes.
Brady come play for
He
us?
did. Well, not for you. He'll play for the Patriots. Last year, it was the Patriots and the Rams. They played in London, and the Patriots won
correct.
by about 35 points.
That's correct.
Certainly.
Yeah. We had a soccer, we had a soccer game before they played. It was Manchester United, which is a really big soccer team for England, and so there was like little divots all in the ground because when you play soccer, with your we call them the spigots, but I think you Yanks call them what do you call it? The pointy little
Yeah.
divots.
The divot is the chunk of grass that comes up from the field, usually when you've teed off from a golf swing. But you've just revealed yourself as a non-British because you would never call it soccer.
It's football.
That's what I'm saying.
But I wanted you to understand what I was talking about.
I understand.
Because I know what it's called,
Right.
but you're calling it something else.
I didn't call it. You called it the wrong thing.
No.
A British would never call it what you call it.
I'm trying to talk to your language. I'm trying to use a term you're familiar with.
Right, but you're
You
supposed to be an
understand?
authentic British person.
Well, of course I am.
Well, then you wouldn't speak in that language.
Where's my freaking spot of tea?
I don't know.
Am
That's
I-
another thing. If
am
you
I-
were really
am I-
British, you'd have tea.
In my crumpet.
You would have that too.
Well, this
You
is
wouldn't have to ask
this
for
is
it.
a low budget show. I mean, you really want
Right.
to come out and say it. I mean,
It is.
I even had to
How
pay-
expensive is a cup of tea?
I had to pay for the taxi even to get over here to your production studio.
Congratulations.
Nobody was waiting for me with a little sign that goes, Nigel, Nigel. No, I got off the plane and I said, who's here to pick me up? And everybody looked at me like I was strange.
Well, you knew what you were getting into. When you were hired on for the Joe and Mickey Pro Football Show, you saw the expense budget, right? What did it say?
It
said,
cents.
it said
It
no.
wasn't even dollars.
I'll tell you
It
what.
wasn't even a pound.
It said no expense is spared.
Is that what it meant?
Yeah. Well, what it meant, but it also said, if you read the fine print, it's on your credit card though.
My credit card.
Right. No expense is spared, but it's on your credit card.
Let me ask you something, Mickey.
What?
Have you ever travelled to a country you've never been to before, and when you landed from the old aeroplane, you had this whole vast country, nobody was there to show you where to go, or who to see, or what you can do and what you can't do. You just got off the plane and you were like a free bird.
Are you talking about above the age of 14 or below?
What's that got to do with it?
I'm saying, when you
I
get to
got
another
off-
country,
I got
you
off the
expect
plane
an
and
escort? You're not the
nobody-
president or anything, or the prime minister.
You asked me to be the representative for the Joey and Mickey Pro Football Show London branch, and I said, where's the branch? And you said to me on the telly, is there a tree outside your window? And I said, yes, and you said, that's the branch. And the next thing I knew, the connection was disconnected.
Did you fly into Heathrow? And was there any snow on the ground?
No, but you can.
That's the problem,
But
isn't
you could bet there was some freaking square salt pellets all over the place, right?
Well, not yet, because the folks from Heathrow haven't made their pilgrimage to Chicago to learn about salt.
Pilgrimage.
And as soon as they do, they'll have it all figured out.
Pilgrimage.
Right.
That is a religious expression.
Will be a religious experience when they do it.
Really?
Really. And you know what? The people will thank them. Every business will improve 1,000%, if not less, at Heathrow once they figure out how to handle salt.
We want
Snow.
Tom Brady. Let me get back to it. We want Tom Brady.
All right,
we
go
want
to
be
Foxborough.
We're worried you're going to bring us, like Los Angeles is going to like put a team in London. It's going to be like some Hollywood, like some Arnold Schwarzenegger and that's what's in our papers. Arnold Schwarzenegger is going to start a franchise in London. We don't want Arnold Schwarzenegger. We want like one of these blokes that like this, like the Pittsburgh Steelers family, the Rooney family. He was like the diplomat for Ireland, but he was the owner of the Pittsburgh Steelers. We don't want Hollywood over there. We don't, and they're not going to like it anyway because it's all drab. It's like like I'm telling you, it's most of the time overcast, and that's no place to get a suntan.
No.
You bring over the little blondie girls, that are all perky. They're not going to be getting suntans.
True.
We want the working blokes, the working stiffs. That's the kind of team we want. But we don't want your Cecil Schultz the third players coming over either. We want like the top of the line receivers. Give us some Calvin Johnsons,
You don't want the what?
some Cecil Shorts. We don't want
Cecil Short's
the third.
The third.
We don't want we don't want for every position. We don't want like your players that are like not really that good. They're not like catching the most passes, because that's what we're afraid you're going to do. You're just going to give us the trash.
I think we're going to have to wrap this up, Joey.
We don't want trash.
No, by all means, you shouldn't have trash.
We're British. We don't do trash.
You don't do trash. You haven't read your tabloids lately, have you?
This is Nigel, Joey and Mickey Pro Football Show London branch correspondence.
And if you learn one thing today, it would be... We'll leave them hanging.
Salt and snow
Just leave 'em hanging.
don't go together. Is that what I learned?
Well, I don't know. I thought of something earlier, but I forgot.
I thought I got the message.
Okay,
Okay.
done.